My name is Kathryn Ann, and I am a church partner with Compassion Coalition. When I think about the term standing in the gap, oftentimes my mind goes to biblical times where they would build walls around cities to protect the city's inhabitants and to keep the enemies at bay. And if at any point in time that city was under attack and there were any holes in the walls, someone would literally have to stand in the gap to fight and defend and protect the inhabitants. At this point in time, so many people in our city are under attack. But the attacks look different than they did back then. We no longer have these walls and enemies right at our gates. The wars that we're fighting right now are a lot more covert. Things like addiction, mental illness, broken families, crime and poverty, the current housing crisis, and quite frankly, just loneliness on the heels of such an unprecedented time of isolation have caused so many people in our community to experience holes in their armor, and they're vulnerable to attacks. But as Christians, we are called to stand in those gaps. God invites us to intercede for folks in need in our community, but oftentimes we don't know who those people are. We certainly don't understand what their needs are. And even if we do, we don't always know how to best help. And that's where Compassion Coalition comes in. In so many really unique and special ways, Compassion Coalition is standing in the gap not only for those in our community, but also for us as the church. And they do this by helping us identify some of the greatest needs in our city and by painting a bigger, more accurate picture of our community. And then they invite us to be the church, to link arms with people and to walk alongside them and to love them and ultimately to bring them the hope of the gospel. But as well-intentioned as we may be, sometimes we just don't do this very well. And so once again, Compassion Coalition stands in the gap for us as the church by providing tools and resources and incredible trainings that really equip us to walk alongside folks, to love them and serve them in healthier, more productive, dignifying, Christ-honoring ways. And so with that knowledge, we are better able to more effectively stand in the gap with our neighbors. I love the mental image of the body of Christ wrapping around Knoxville. And when I say the body of Christ, I mean everyone in the body of Christ. And that includes the churches, but also parachurches and ministries and nonprofits and schools and state and government agencies. And that's another thing that Compassion Coalition does. They bring us all together. We all have a seat at the table. And so we're all able to come together and say, I can't do this on my own, but we can do this together. And so using our unique skills and gifts, we can start filling in those holes and standing in the gaps for people in our community in a really beautiful way. God calls us to intercede for people in our community, and we do that through prayer and protection and helping meet one another's needs. But we know that ultimately, Jesus is the one who intercedes on our behalf. He's the one who's standing in the gaps for us. And so as his followers, what an incredible opportunity we have to be more like him and to stand in the gaps for others.